afternoon, and welcome to the Sunday edition of Basement Chronicles Live. My name is Lisa Dublin, and today I have a very special guest. She's a client. She's also way bigger than that. Her name is Dona Regis-Prosper. And I want to tell you a little bit about Donna before I bring her on, because she is the Secretary General of the Caribbean Tourism Organization, the first female in that role. And so we're just so happy that she's going to be here with us today. Let me tell you a bit about this impressive individual. Donna has had a sterling career throughout the Caribbean in tourism. She has been the Director of Marketing and Product Development at the St. Lucia and Seaports Authority, Director of Business Development for Margaritaville Caribbean Group in Jamaica. Donna has also been the CEO of the Tortola Pier Park in the British Virgin Islands. She was, before this stint, this newest post as the Secretary General of the CTO. Donna was the General Manager of the Antigua Cruise Port, and she ushered that organization throughout COVID, which was so impressive the way that she did it. And perhaps we'll get a little bit into that today. So, you guys, without any further ado, I'd like to welcome to Basement Chronicles Live the Sunday interview, Donna Regis Prosper. Hey, Donna.
Hi, Lisa. So good to be here.
Oh my goodness, it's so nice to have
Congratulations
you.
on this relaunch of Basement Chronicles
Yes, on the Sunday. That's where it all
on the
started, all the
Sunday.
way. Yeah, all the way back in 2020. But more importantly, Donna, thank you for gracing us with your presence. Thank you for just showing the way. And you know how before we came on, we were like, this is definitely for that young woman who's watching and is like, what is possible in life? What can I do? And this is an example basically of what is possible. So thank you for being here.
It's my honor, it's my pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. Let's get right into it. So we want to say thank you and to say also welcome to everybody who's listening on Facebook, okay, on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on Instagram. I tried to get Instagram going. I'm not sure what happened there, but let's hope that it's working. Also, a special good afternoon to all of cohort 1 in the Speak with Confidence group. There was a special cohort when Donna was part of that group, and they've kind of stuck together. They're just so impressive people, and some of them I think are watching today. So welcome, and let's get right into it. Donna, you know how the first question in an interview is. Tell me about yourself. I am not going to deviate, not yet. So tell us a little bit
My
about
my
you.
pleasure to do that, Lisa. But
Absolutely.
before I get into our conversation, I just want to take a moment to express sincere condolences to the Ricardo Drew family and his
Yeah.
close friends. As you know, I lived in Antigua for a number of years, and I had the privilege of meeting Ricardo in person and also attending many of his events. And
Mm.
I could tell you from a Caribbean perspective, we have lost a great talent. And I do believe strongly that his music and his legacy will definitely live on.
Yeah. When you talk about, when somebody so young dies and who has made such an impact, it's especially poignant to know that in your short life, this is all that you did, So I join you
Absolutely.
in extending condolences to friends and family.
Yes.
So tell us about
So,
you. Yeah.
well,
Who are
Lisa,
you?
yeah, I grew up from a Christian family, raised by a single mother, but a very large, wider family. So, I grew up very happy, surrounded by a lot of people in a close knit countryside town
Oh,
called
wow.
Tiroche Castries.
Uh-huh.
So, it's growing up on a small island in a small town. You learn some values and you learn some things early on in life that shape the way you progress and the way you walk your path.
Mhm.
And values like honesty and kindness, caring, sharing, these things have remained with me throughout my life. Even today, it remains with me. Right now, I still live in a small town. I still love the idea of living in a countryside. So that stayed with me.
So, oh, you mean you live in the countryside right now in Barbados as
In
because you moved?
Barbados, yes,
Oh,
I live in a
wow.
small town,
Yeah.
so I still love the fresh air of living in a small town. I just love the peace and serenity that it
Mhm.
brings to you.
Donna, I've listened to a lot of your stories, in giving your speeches and so on. I sit in on a lot of them because we have this coaching relationship, which we'll talk
Yes,
about later. And it just occurred to me, all of these qualities that you now are pointing to, do you realize these are some of the stories that you always like pull out of your life when
yes,
giving illustrations and speeches? I mean, that
yes.
is just amazing for me. So I want to go straight into your trajectory through tourism, right? So, I mean, the resume is impressive. You've started from, just like normal within the tourism industry, and you've risen through the ranks. So, I mean, where did, first of all, this love of tourism come from?
You know, the love for tourism, when I think about it, it really comes from the love of the Caribbean.
Mhm.
And, you know, because tourism is so important, we're the most dependent region in the entire world when it comes to tourism. So that love for tourism stemmed from my love for the Caribbean. And just a quick, what I will share with you while I was growing up, there were two programs. One was on radio and the other one was on television. One was called Pen Pal Corner on Radio Antilles. Persons who are old enough to remember Radio Antilles would remember
Yes.
that it was very popular with Dubai Richards. And there was a segment on a Saturday afternoon where you could listen out for persons that you wanted to become pen pals, and then you could submit your name to the radio station with your hobbies and so on. And people would write to you. So I was very selective. I would choose someone from at least one person from each island.
Yeah.
And I got to know some very good friends in several islands. There's actually one person that I still stay in touch with.
Is that the
And
one you went that you traveled to meet?
it's
Is
from
that?
St.
Oh
Vincent,
my
yes. From
gosh!
St.
Right.
Vincent, yes, yes. And that was my first trip outside of St. Lucia was to St. Vincent to spend Christmas. It was around this
Okay.
time of year to spend
Right.
Christmas with my pen pal.
Yeah. And
And
how
then the
old were you
second,
when? How old were you?
oh my
About
gosh, I was probably maybe 13, 14 years old
14.
at the
Yeah.
time. And my mom allowed me to go to St. Vincent to go to this family that I had never met
But there were
before.
stipulations, right? There were lots of
There was
stipulations.
stipulation, lots and lots of stipulations,
Right.
but it was such a wonderful experience. And then there was another television program that came out on a Sunday afternoon called Caribscope. And
Mm-hmm.
Caribscope would feature islands of the Caribbean and they focused on tourism, sites of attractions. The first time I heard about the Kaicha Falls in Guyana was on that program. And
Wow.
it came up on a Sunday afternoon where, again, coming back to the family that I grew up in and the neighborhood that I grew up in, it was a situation where um, you know, on a Sunday afternoon would be the cricket games and so
Mm-hmm.
on. So
Mm-hmm.
during that afternoon, then everybody would be playing cricket outside, but
Oh
Donna was
wow.
inside
Uh-huh.
listening to Carib Scope.
You know,
So
and uh-huh. Go ahead.
no, I was just saying. So that love of tourism came because I first loved the Caribbean region and all the islands. I was so fascinated with it.
Wow. And Donna, you know how recently, maybe a couple of months back, so if, full disclosure, Donna's been coaching with me for a couple years now. And
Yes.
it has been just a rewarding experience, I think, on both sides. And so I've kind of grown with her and grown with her career. And I remember, is it about a year ago, something sprung up out of that love for the Caribbean, and you started to say, we share a common Caribbean sea. Remember that? And I was like, oh my
Yes.
goodness, that is beautiful. Number one, poetic and all of that. But it really has deeper meaning for what you can do within tourism and within bringing the Caribbean together. So, can you tell us a little bit about what exactly that means to you, that we share a common Caribbean sea?
We do, Lisa. If you think of all of the islands of the Caribbean, you start with the Bahamas all the way down to Guyana, and then you go to the ABC Islands and you look at all of that,
Hmm.
then you would recognize that,
Okay, we need to put something off. Is yeah.
yes, we need to
Okay.
recognize, we recognize that all of the islands are very different.
Hmm.
All of the islands are very different, a different culture. While we have a lot in common, there are lots of things that we do not have in common. But the thing that connects all of us is that Caribbean Sea. It has been
Hmm.
our source of it has been a driver of our economies. It has been a source of pleasure for us as well,
Mm-hmm.
entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
And when I said we share that Caribbean Sea, it was because of the importance of that Caribbean Sea to us as a region. It is
Mm-hmm.
really what defines us. So, and the fact that we share it is a testament to the connectivity
Mm-hmm. That we
that we
have.
have in the Caribbean. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I first met Donna with speaking. You remember we did speak with confidence, and one of the things we learn in this whole speaking world is just to be authentic and to be yourself. And if things are not going right, we just fix it and we move on, right? So it seems like
Yes.
we're having a bit of music in the background. So if we hear it,
Yes.
we'll try to solve for that and come back or something. But I'm not hearing it now. Are you? Are you? It
No,
seems like it
it's fine
disappeared.
now.
Fine
It's
now?
fine.
Okay,
Yes,
no
sorry about
problem.
that.
No, that's fine. No, that's life.
Yes.
Like that's what we do as speakers. If it doesn't work, hey, here's one of your cohort members. Here's
Oh,
Ramona
Ramona.
saying,
Hi,
hey,
Ramona.
hi Ramona.
Hi.
Man, that cohort was fire. Cohort one
It
was,
was. It
oh my
was.
goodness, like just
It
movers and
was indeed.
shakers up
Yes.
to now. That's exactly what it
Mm-hmm.
is. But let's move on.
Yes.
So, and this next question, I want to couch it properly because often when people see a woman moving up the ranks, the question that you want to ask is very curiously and not with any agenda. Can you tell us how you did it? As opposed to how did you get there? Can you tell us how you did it?
Well, Lisa, I think I turned a corner in my career about 9 years ago when I left St. Lucia and took up the role as CEO for the Tortola Pair Park, which is essentially the company that managed the cruise port in Tortola.
Mhm.
So I was in St. Lucia, and there are various zones in life. So I was in my zone of comfort. I had a job that I enjoyed, friends that I loved, I still love today, and I also had a home that I had just purchased. So I was in my comfort zone, very
Hmm.
comfortable, until the opportunity to move, relocate, leave St. Lucia and go to the British Virgin Islands to take up this role. But it still allowed me to stay within the tourism space because that was a non negotiable for me in my career, that I would not want to leave the tourism space.
Hmm.
So I left that zone of comfort, moved to the British Virgin Islands, and ended up in the zone of fear.
Woo.
And it is during, yes, and it is during that zone, in a new environment, new culture, new job, away, no friends, um, I got to know Donna in a different way.
What did you
I
learn?
got to know I got to know myself, know that my strength, understand it, know my limitations, know what I will not compromise on. It takes time and it's still a work in progress. So in that during those 3 years in the BVI, I could say that I really grew and got over a lot of my fears because I faced my fears. And then
Mhm.
after BVI, then I moved to Jamaica. It was a
Mhm.
different experience. It was a learning experience because there it was a bigger island, and the job was different. It was within the tourism space, but right now had gone into entertainment and food and beverage, and it was a different sort of experience for me. So it was a learning experience that I went through during that time. And
But
then
but Tortola prepared you for those other kinds
yes,
of jobs. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
absolutely. And then, from Jamaica, I moved to Antigua. And as you mentioned in the intro,
Mhm.
Antigua was that place where, I had to run the port during COVID. And as you know, um, all the most affected industry by the COVID pandemic was the cruise industry within
Yes.
the tourism space. So these were some difficult years.
Yeah.
And these were years where my growth continued, but it's a different type of growing. And I think we're going to get into that a little
Yeah,
bit
we'll get
Yes.
into that. Oh, I'm curious to know what is the fear, the deepest fear, or the most important fear that you overcame in that first stint out of St. Lucia that prepared you for life up to now. What was that biggest fear? Was it the fear of the unknown or?
It was the fear of the unknown for sure, but it was also the fear of failure. Because there I was, and it was a job that had a national significance. It was the first time that this beautiful, beautiful destination was going into the cruise tourism industry in that way. a lot of money was being invested in that. All eyes were on the project, and I knew that I had to
And on you.
deliver.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I know I had to deliver.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that the people of that destination was also depending on me to take them to the next level in within the tourism industry. So that fear of failure, and you know what we spoke about in cohort one, imposter syndrome, and all
Yeah.
of that,
Yeah.
that kind of ruled me
Mm-hmm.
for a little while I was there. But I recognized that my definition of failure during those 3 years changed.
Mm-hmm.
I recognize that you have to celebrate the small things, and that's a win.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely. Okay.
that's a win. So it taught me that, yes.
Okay, great. And so that prepared you for afterwards. Donna, we don't have we didn't discuss this question, but I'd be very interested to hear your take on it. When we speak about imposter syndrome, there is a school of thought that says, is it really imposter syndrome, or is it that we identify that state of being in the learning curve as an unsure state, and is that okay? Is it really like, I don't know, I feel like a fraud, or I am at that point in learning, and as I get better I get higher up on that learning curve? In your experience doing so many new things, so many firsts is what I'm beginning, like, you've been a pioneer in so many ways, right? So what is it for you? Do you enter a job feeling, okay, I know I don't know, so I know there's some learning to take place, or is it that sense that I feel like a fraud? Which one is it for you, you think?
It's a mixture. It's a
Mm,
mixture, to be honest. So
mhm.
they're like everybody else. You get those voices in your head that tells you, no, no, you can't do that, and then you get another voice that say, yes, you can.
Yeah,
And then you tell that voice, go away,
yeah,
leave,
I
hit the
go.
door, hit the road.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the difference in when you hear those two voices is the circle that you have around you. Outside of the job, outside of the professional, that space where you could go to, and you're not the CEO, you're not the director, you're not the general manager, but you are you who you are. And then you have people around you that love you and that lift you up, and that reinforces that second voice you hear in your head that says you could do it. So
Yeah.
for me, that was the difference.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. And for everyone listening out here, a couple things. Like, if you are in the To All the Girls Success Club, I don't know if I shared it there. So if you can share it there for me, that would be great if it isn't there already. And then also put your questions, you guys. I'm not sure that I can see them because I'm going through a third party, but if you see me on my phone, Donna, I do apologize, but we're doing the
No
communication
problem.
thing. I'm looking
We
for the
are.
questions and the comments to bring to you to make this as interactive as possible. So that's what's happening, everybody. And so, hi, Janita. Hi, a couple people. Ken Roy says he's looking forward to this conversation. I think you probably know who that is. Quite a couple
Yes, I
of
am.
people, yeah, are tuning in from LinkedIn. So we want to acknowledge you and thank you for being here. Thank you for your support. Donna, let's move on. What is the biggest thing that you've had to give up? I mean, yeah, simple. I don't even have a follow up. What's the biggest thing that
Yeah,
you had to give up all this time?
like I mentioned, Lisa, moving from St. Lucia, which is my home. I grew up in St. Lucia, born and raised in St. Lucia. So giving up the familiar that came with giving up my day-to-day relationship with my friends. While I'm still in touch with them, it's different when you're not in the same space. So this was one of the things that I had to give up. And at that point, in when I left St. Lucia, it was when a lot of my friends were having families of their own, and I was Auntie Donna. So I miss
That.
seeing those kids grow up. Yes.
Hmm.
Because
Oh, by
whenever
the
I go
way,
back home,
uh-huh.
they're a lot taller than I left them, and I still think of them as babies when I left St. Lucia. So I
Well,
think that
uh,
was one of the things that I had to give up. Yes.
okay, but you're a mighty little lady, okay? So a lot of people would be taller than you. Mighty little lady, we know that.
Yes.
Donna, by
Yes.
the way, your woman crush just joined. So Donna and Drenia Frederick have a wonderful relationship. Like, they
We
just
do.
admire each
Yes.
other.
We
And just
do.
contrary spirits. I always say that they were in cohort
Yes,
one
we
or
do.
two
Hi,
today.
Jurnia. Yes.
She said she's listening. Thank you for being here. And Junior is
Thank
never
you.
online.
Yes.
Okay. So you got Junior to be here. Okay.
Oh, wow.
I'm telling you. So what
Yes.
about what has been your biggest win so far? Is it this job or something else?
This job is definitely very, very important and very special. But in terms of my journey across the Caribbean, not just the Caribbean, St. Lucia, I think my biggest win is the number of mentees that I have. And I hope I don't sound like an old lady saying that, but I've had
Mhm.
a number of people that I've worked with that I saw them turn into leaders themselves. And it's just
Mhm.
such an amazing. I get emotional when I say it. But in
Yeah.
every island in St. Lucia, which is my base, I have a number of mentees there that
Mhm.
still call me. And sometimes I end up calling them to ask them for their perspective on something. And in every island, I do have a number of mentees, and they mean the world to me. And I think that for me is one of my most proudest achievements, the fact that I've been able to inspire others, and they themselves now are doing very well in significant leadership positions.
Wow. Okay. This is a very instructional moment in our interview. I'm not even sure, we didn't even plan it, but coaching you over the years, and I said it in, I think, the post of today, that one of your biggest strengths is that you're a learner. You will look for mentors, you will find the help that you need. I mean, you have so much potential within you. It's not almost like it's not even, it's really like somebody who already is on top is going out to make herself better. But there's that humility to want to learn and to accept correction and to just a hunger to get better, Donna. That's what I've realized. And for me, if the one of the biggest attributes to you in succeeding over this time is that ability to be humble before mentors, coaches, whatever. And look at it, has worked. It has worked for you. So now when I hear you say that one of your biggest wins is that you have recreated or you have born mentees, it makes sense to me because it's a value for you. Can you tell us about that? There might be a young woman or even a young anybody listening right now wondering, how do I get ahead? Tell us about your whole mentor mentee relationship and your thoughts on it, most importantly.
Well, the first thing is that we have to recognize that we can't do it alone. You know that song, No Man is an Island? It is real. It is real. Nobody could achieve it alone.
Yeah.
And you need people in life, but you need good people. You need the right people. You need the people who's going to understand and support your dreams. You need the people that's going to tell you the honest things, have the difficult conversations,
Patience, for
tell
sure.
you yes, and
Mhm.
tell you something that you may not want to hear, and you need those. And I have several of them in my life,
Yeah.
whether you want to hear it or not. I have people in my life that's going to tell me, and sometimes it's difficult to hear, but
Hmm.
when you take a step back, you realize that this made a lot of sense. And these are some of the moments when you turn a corner and you get to that next level of growth. And it's continuous. It is continuous. I learn from people who are half my age. I learn from people who are twice my age. I
Yeah.
learn from people who are very highly educated in terms of academic education. And I learn from people who never went to school, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So for me, it is that process of understanding all of the resources that you have around you and choosing the right resource to make yourself better.
So doesn't that make you feel small ever? That's a question that prevents people from seeking out evaluation. Okay. I don't want to hear it because if I do, it will just like it will break down my effort, break down my self-esteem. How is that for you? How do you handle the criticism?
Well, Lisa, one of the things I very basic, um, for me, I do not follow comments on social media. I do not do that. That's a
Yeah.
start. That's a start. I am not, yes, I understand the importance of social media. I'm a supporter of social media, but I also understand what it could do,
Hmm.
especially if it's coming from a place of where it is not coming from a place of love. Now, what I just spoke about there in terms of my circle of friends and the people that are around me,
Mhm.
This is coming from a place of love, and you know that it is coming from a place of love. So it is received differently, it is packaged differently. Know that person is telling you this thing because they want the best for you. And this is not people who trying to shame you, who trying to take you down.
Mhm.
Um, so you treat it differently, you receive it differently, and you will receive the blessing from that when it is done in love. But if it's
Mhm.
for another motivation, for me, this is not the right way to go at all.
And at the end, that makes a lot of sense. At the end of the day, too, there's that element of making a judgment for yourself, isn't there? Because I've
Yeah.
seen you make decisions, even though we might have discussed stuff, or you might have discussed stuff with your other mentors, you, with your mentors, etc. I've seen you still make your own decision. So how much of being in, relationship with other people and getting feedback from them, how much of that is dependent on you filtering it through your own sense of judgment and of who you are?
No, you have to do that. Remember, I said when I moved to the BVI, I got to know Donna. So you have to spend some time knowing yourself. You have to spend some time in your space, in your environment. And that could mean different things for different people. For me, it is sitting on my bed and looking out the window. For another person, it might be under a tree. For another person, it might be taking a long drive. When I was in St. Lucia, I would take long drives too. And you have to get to know who you are. And it's going to be a learning process.
Mhm.
So you cannot be afraid of exploring who you are. You have to, and when you on that path, you have to walk your own path. Just a quick analogy is that I remember asking a wine expert, somebody in a restaurant, what's the best wine? How do I know what's the best wine? And this was somebody who had his own restaurant. And I was looking for advice. And he tell me, you
Mhm.
take the wine, you put it to your mouth, and if it tastes good to you, then that's the best wine. And
Yeah.
it was instructive because essentially he's telling me, walk my own walk,
Yeah.
live my own life, own my life. So yes, you have people around you who's going to lift you up, but at the end of the day, you make it your own. You
Yeah.
add your you to it, and you make it your own. And that is how I have been able to live my life, by understanding who I am, by choosing my path that I want to walk, and walk in that path too, and
Yeah.
and Donnarizing it along the way, I should
Oh
say.
my gosh, there we go. That's a new word. We're gonna add that to our vocabulary. Donnerize it. But Donna,
Yes.
that is really talking about authenticity. And I have this thing I've been saying lately that I heard from somebody, and I learned by heart because it resonates so deeply, and I think it will with you. And it was this guy on a podcast. His name is CJ, and he said, when you see somebody who has the it factor, it's usually because they are fully comfortable with who they are. See, and
Yes.
that's what that connoisseur, that wine person was saying to you. In other words, know yourself, be fully comfortable with who you are so that you'd know and be able to accept whatever you are returning to you as good.
Absolutely.
Makes
Absolutely.
sense. Makes sense. Okay. So you guys, if you have questions for Donna, can you please put them in the chat and I'll try to get to them. I'm not being bad mannerly by looking at the phone. I'm just trying to get the questions. Okay. If you have any questions for her as we go along, please add them here or any comments. We appreciate those as well. All right. So look, Drinius did say hi, Donna. There she is. Yeah. Okay. So let's move on, Donna, to we've had a great relationship, a great coaching relationship. So I have a couple questions for you. Right? What have you learned? What have you learned through coaching? How has that helped you? And this is not like a riff for okay, coaching, whatever, but it has been, I have been blessed to have had you as one of my first coaching clients or thinkers, and it has literally grown me. It has literally made me even a better person and given me that confidence too, to have seen that in some small way, to be able to contribute to this person's rise in some which what way. Like I that was just God. Before you answer that question about what have you learned through coaching, etc., there's a comment from Julie, and Julie says, I'm enjoying this interview, very earnest. So, how do you maintain a balance between work and family life? Donna, where do you want to go? Because we did have that section, didn't we?
Yes, we
We
did
talk
have
about.
that section.
You want
So
to go there first? What do you want to do?
we can. We certainly can. Hi, Julie.
Yeah.
So
Hey, Julie.
it's that question that I get all the time,
Yeah.
and I say,
Burning.
you have to define what balance is to you.
So
You
what
know,
is it to you?
so for me, balance is being able to, first of all, because the way I approach work is what do I need to do? Not how many hours I put in it, but what do I need to do? What are the priorities? What do I need to achieve? What are my objectives?
Mm-hmm.
And then I look at the other side of my life and I say, okay, um, what do I need to do to support the people that are around me as well? Because they give me so much support. What do I need to do to support them? So sometimes it depends. It sometimes my day might be 90% of it is dedicated to the job itself. And there's another day that 100% of it is dedicated to the job. And there are days where my entire 100% is dedicated to my family. So
Yeah.
I do not have a formula, but what I always start with is what is the priority at the time? What
Yeah.
should I give my priority to on this given day
Yeah.
based on what it is that I want in life, based on that overall achievement that I have for myself? So
Mm-hmm.
I think it goes back to that getting to know who you are
Mm-hmm.
and drinking the wine that you love.
Yeah, I
It
love.
tastes good
Listen,
to
we're
you.
taking this, right? We're running with this. Okay, we're just
Yes,
running with this.
yes.
Right. So
It's
we
the
have a
wine that
question.
tastes good to you. Yes.
Exactly, and that is good enough. So we have a question from Levar, but before we do that, let's finish the talk about family, because the one thing I've learned about you over the years is how deeply you value family, marriage, having a partner. Like you always say when you enter the home, you're Donna David's wife. And I found that so
Yes.
admirable. And it's so different from what you hear because, you often hear that when women, especially, are in leadership positions, it's pretty difficult sometimes to get a partner and keep a partner. That's somewhat of the truth. Lately, however, you've been saying to me those women who you now hobnob with and you have over the years in your executive career, a lot of them do have partners and supportive partners. So it's like, wait a minute,
Yes.
like, what are we not getting here? So talk to us about your emphasis on family and how you make it work. And then we'll go to Levar's question.
Yeah, yeah, Lisa, you're quite right. The television version of a successful woman is the devil wears Prada and Working Girl and more recently The Proposal.
Mhm.
And in my career, throughout my career, a lot of the women that I've met, they have successful families, very supportive friends, and very supportive spouses. And I've said to you that when I am at home, I'm a wife.
What does that
I
mean?
am concentrating on being spending time to the love of
Keep that word in the back.
my life. Yes, spending time with him, and very important. I also took my time to get married. Again, coming back to, and I keep coming back to that,
Yeah.
knowing who you are.
So
So
taking time to get married meant like going after career first. The reason I'm asking is because especially in my age group, a lot of women did that. Like we went after careers first, we went after getting the education first. And it didn't quite work out for many people that you still ended up in a relationship. So did you have a plan or it just happened that way? Like, or was mommy
oh
involved?
no, no. I had a plan. Like every little girl, you have a plan for your wedding day.
Hmm.
You know what the dress is going to look like. And if you grew up around my time, you saw Princess Diana got married, so you wanted to come in a carriage. So all of these things. But again, it came back to, for me, I wanted to understand Donna. I wanted to know who I am. So when I showed up in a marriage, I showed up as me and have that honest relationship. So I knew that career was important to me. I knew that staying in the Caribbean was important to me. So these were things that I knew that I had to find a partner that understood that. And I took my time to find that partner. And I must say that I'm blessed in that I have someone who is 100% supportive of me. And I always start a career move with that discussion with with my spouse. And there's a school of thought that says to be successful in your career, you have to be successful in your personal life. And I totally support that philosophy.
So, do you think one adds to the other? Because there are some people who are so good, like business wise, professional wise, and the private lives, the personal lives are understandably in shambles. Let me give you, let me tell you where I'm going with this. Right, I recorded the latest edition of my podcast today, and I'm talking about you have to invest so you can harvest, as in the things you give attention to, they are going to grow. You're going to reap a benefit. If you focus solely on education or your profession, that's where you're going to reap a harvest. But if you give no juice, no breath to relationship, you're not going to reap a harvest there. Do you share that view? Like, do you think it depends on who the person is, where you put your focus? Like, what's the makeup, if there is one?
Yes, it certainly depends on
Sorry,
where
that was
you
a
put your
rambling
focus.
question, Donna. I'm
Yes.
sorry, that was a rambling question. I apologize.
But I understand that. That's fine, Lisa. I understand the question. So yes, it depends on where you put your focus. And I come back to, what does it mean to you? And for me, I knew that Donna, as in getting to know Donna, Donna wanted this a career. Donna wanted to ensure that she contribute to the wider society. Donna wanted those things. So Donna had to get a partner that would understand her dreams as well and will support her in that dream. And it's not all about what I want, it's also what my partner wants as well. So that is, to the question about balance,
Mhm.
that is part of the balance you find in life, that you know that you have to support the people that are around you for the people around you to also support you. It can't be one-sided.
Yeah. Okay. And it's also a work in progress. I think it's also a work in progress that you mightn't get it right the first time where relationships are concerned, and you have to be
Absolutely.
willing to have a tender heart. I think to okay, I'm this.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you have to be able to do that. Any other tips for that executive woman, that professional woman who wants it all, who wants to be in the boardroom and in the at home? Any tips for that person? Yeah.
Yeah, again, why are you doing it?
Yeah.
Find out your purpose, and purpose then follows passion. So
Yeah.
find out why. Find out your why. What is my motivation for doing this?
Mm-hmm.
Am I doing this for the right reasons? Am I doing this because somebody else want me to do it? Am I doing this for myself?
Yeah.
So it has to start there, which is why I'm going back to my experience of leaving St. Lucia, leaving my comfort zone, because you don't always get to know who you are when you are in your comfort zone. It is when you're pushed into
Mm-hmm.
difficult situations, you really get to know your strength.
Mm-hmm.
You get to know who your friends are too, who your good
Yeah.
friends are. So in those moments you get to know yourself, and you also understand purpose as well. And then passion follows that purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say start with that. Don't start by thinking this is what I want in the end, because we always focus on the end. But
Mm-hmm.
you have to spend some time living in the moment. I am a student
Okay.
of yoga,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the things, you always end a yoga practice in something called the corpse pose. It
Mm.
sounds a little creepy. And what that is, it's the final way that you end your yoga practice, and you surrender. And
Okay.
then your teacher will say to you, don't think about the past, don't think about the future, stay in the moment. And it took me a long time to get that, because I would be lying there in the yoga pose and thinking, I wonder if there's traffic on the road. I wonder if, and it, yeah. And I'm thinking, how could you stay in the moment? Because, you just had a bad day at work, and you need to get home, what you
Right.
gonna have for dinner. And it took me a while to get that.
Yeah.
And it's still a work in progress. Sometimes I still wonder after a yoga session,
Mm-hmm.
but it is a very important thing to stay in the moment and in the present, where you get to know yourself. I
And to
keep
do
coming
more.
back to that because it
Yes.
is so important.
Okay. No problem. Let's take a couple questions now. That no, that is good, and it kind of explains the calm, like that that calm, that measured calm that you do have. So
Yes.
that's awesome. So here's this question from Levar. He says, um, given the power of hindsight, what advice would you give to 13-year-old Donna, considering all the things you've learned over the years? Yeah, that's a lovely question,
Wow.
eh? Yeah. Thank
Well,
you, Levar.
13-year-old Donna would not listen to a 49-year-old Donna.
Oh my gosh.
But maybe the 49-year-old Donna will talk anyway to the 13-year-old Donna and say, love yourself. Love yourself. You are enough at 13 years old. Don't try to be anybody else. Love yourself. Your
Mhm,
13-year-old version of yourself. Love that person. Be kind to that person.
mhm.
That's what because at 13 you have all of these emotions, all of these racing thoughts, and you're not sure of what you
Anything.
want to
Oh
do.
my
You're not
goodness.
sure of anything. You think you are, but you're not. So the third, I would tell my 13-year-old self to love myself at that time. Yes.
Absolutely wonderful. That's great advice. But Donna, in all fairness, right? You know how you look younger than your age anyway, and your nieces like and nephews love you. Like they
And I
consider you
love
one
them
of them.
too.
Exactly.
Yes.
So I'm sure the 13-year-old Donna might take some advice from somebody who just looked, not too far removed. Let's give that, right there. Okay. Let's move right along. We have a couple more questions and then we can wrap this up. And we spoke about coaching, Donna, and like what is the benefit of it? Maybe we can just get that in right now. Like, what is the benefit of it to somebody, to anybody? I know for me, and I always say to you that and to everybody who listen, that one of the reasons I got into being a coach was because of, what coaching did in my own life. With you, it was different. It wasn't life coaching. It was communication and speaking and all of those things. And what a wonderful experience, because you were already that way inclined. And it was just a matter of helping refine Donna. And I think, and if I may, the joy of the that coaching relationship is seeing the number of speaking engagements, okay, that you get now. Like I brag, okay, and then to have this latest leadership award from the Caribbean Media Exchange, which definitely spoke to the way you've led in communication, and that I think is all you. So what has been the benefit, you think, of coaching that way? It wasn't life coaching we did, it was communication.
Yes. So Lisa. Well, first I have to say how wonderful of a coach you have been. You are amazing. You always say that to me, but you're the beast.
Beast. This is the beast right there, you guys.
Yes. So Lisa, I always heard that phrase that words matter. And I always, yeah, words matter, and I always said, yeah, words matter. But not until my engagement, my sessions with you, that I really understood that in a real way. And sometimes it is that one word that you substitute in a message that makes all of the difference. So I truly got to understand that saying that words matter, and understanding how to communicate with people and meeting them where they are.
Yeah.
It makes no sense to communicate in a way that it's not being received, because as the communicator, you've not met your audience where they are.
Mhm.
And you also taught me that it is okay to share. It's okay to tell my story. You also
Yeah,
taught me that as
beautiful
well.
stories. Yeah.
Yes, yes,
Beautiful
yes.
stories. And like one of the things with you, I saw what they say that coaching takes you from good to great. There was already a beauty. Ask any of your SWC, the Speak with Confidence people from cohort one. Everybody knew you were a star
Yeah.
already. As a speaker, oh my goodness.
What an amazing group,
It
right?
was, it was, it was a group
Mhm.
of people who were so authentically themselves that it didn't care that they were with other divas. I was in my element coaching these people. It was beautiful to see.
Yes.
And for me, the testament of your excellence as a communicator is just people keep on asking you to speak about the one thing that you love. And that's how you know when you found a fire And for you, it's
Yes.
tourism. So when you
Yes.
say that you wanted to stay in the Caribbean and you wanted to stay in tourism, it bears witness just because of how it's playing out. You're booked now, you're busy, in spite of also being, and we haven't even spoken about this new stint of being CEO, at Secretary General of the Caribbean Tourism Organization. Donna, the one thing that, over the last month since you took this job, is very clear is that you're busier. So
Yes.
tell us about that. How are you handling, this new job?
Well, Lisa, I was quite busy in Antigua too, because,
Yeah.
in Antigua, it was the recovery of COVID-19. It was taking the destination from a simple port of call to a multi-use type of facility, and taking the island's tourism to another level as it
Mhm,
relates to cruise tourism, merging the benefits of both cruise tourism and stayover tourism. So I was quite busy there.
mhm,
But this is a different level of operation. I am working regionally. I'm based here in Barbados, and I love living here in Barbados, but I am based regionally, and it is a job that is quite humbling. I feel honored to be in this job. I've been there for just over 3 months, and I have met some of the most brilliant minds in the Caribbean,
mhm,
committed, passionate people. And you know what, too? I have met people who are very, very young and eager to get into this industry, and that warms my heart. On
mhm,
another spectrum, I've met people who've been in the industry 40 years, 50 years, and they still love it, and such a
mm,
wealth of knowledge. And
mhm,
the Caribbean itself, in terms of the brand of the Caribbean as it relates to a tourism brand, is such a powerful brand. There are many, many destinations that look to the Caribbean
mhm,
as the leaders.
mhm,
And as we go into a new era in tourism, there's so much that we could do with both the diversity of the Caribbean as well as the things that we have in common.
mhm,
I cannot think of another region in the entire world that has so much to offer in terms of what we could offer our visitors, in terms of its people, its product, the natural environment, the culture, the history. There's so much that we could, the languages, there's so
mhm.
much that we could offer to this fabulous world. And we've only just begun in the Caribbean, although we've been at tourism for a long time. I could tell you
Right.
that there's so many things left that, and we're going to be doing great things. As it relates to the Caribbean Tourism Organization, our membership, both our government membership and our allied members, there's so much that we're going to be doing. Stay tuned.
Yeah. Oh, wow. So that's a great question. A good time to ask you the question, I guess, what do you want your legacy to be at the CTO? Have you started thinking about that? What do you think it will end up being?
Lisa, it's one of those moments that while I do have an overall plan for success, along with my membership, along with my team at the CTO, it's right now I'm doing that cox pose that I told you about in yoga. I am in the moment. I am meeting my members where they are. I'm getting to know them. I'm meeting my team where they are, getting to know them. I'm also still very much getting to know Donna. So I'm in the moment as it relates to what my legacy is going to be. I know that I'm overall passionate about the Caribbean and want the success, and that will happen. But in terms of the specifics of it, I
Mhm.
think I'm just staying in the moment and enjoying this moment and getting to know my membership and getting to know how best I could serve them.
Yeah, but let's not kid ourselves. Like this is where the beast comes out. Okay, let's not kid
Yes.
ourselves. The things are not getting done. All right,
No,
like
things
oh,
will get done. Yes.
absolutely, they are, right? So that brings me to, I think I want to give kudos to your team because you are my longtime client and I'm always watching your stuff. We always come back to the table and roll the tape on your speeches and that kind of thing. So we just keep on going with what is good and, we tighten up where we need to. And the team at the CTO is doing such a great job of getting the message out there, not just that Don is now at the helm, but of almost like I'm not sure if it's because I didn't see it before, but the CTO is always in the news now. It's always everywhere. I don't know if it was like that before, but they're doing a great job with the PR. So tell your PR people from one communications person to the next, they're doing a great job. And, highlighting who you are. So are you like, do you have a hand in it, or did you find the machinery already in place? Tell us all the things.
Well, I will definitely convey your messages to our PR team. But Lisa, you can't have great PR if you don't have great content. So a lot
Exactly.
of what you see, there's a whole team in the background that's ensuring that we are doing things, we're making a difference in the destinations, and then these things could be showcased. And
Mhm.
like I said, stay tuned. There's a lot more that you will see coming out from the CTO and its membership.
Awesome. That's great. So, how we're going to end is talking about another great quality about you. Desire and wanting something. Like when I say Donna Regis Prosper is a beast, I mean it in every aspect of the word. Like there's a pretty face, there's the stature, the elegance, the everything. But as we say in the Caribbean, don't get tired. Okay? Because because there's a definite focus on going after what you want in a way that seems very diplomatic, whatever, but is underlying all of that is pure raw desire and wanting the best. Can you share anything about that streak in you with us?
Yeah, Lisa, it comes from knowing myself. Like I said, 9 years ago when I moved to the British Virgin Islands, I knew that delivering what I had to deliver for that destination,
Mhm,
I did not, it was not a choice. So I had
mhm.
to do what it took to get there. So that desire, that pursuit of excellence comes from that place of knowing that it's a non-compromise for Donna, that
Yeah.
excellence, achieving, but achieving against a backdrop that is not only about what Donna wants, but is also that the stakeholders and persons who I have to deliver to. It's also about being responsible. So when you ask me the question about CTO,
Mhm,
success is not only defined by what I want, but success is also defined by what my constituents want, what my stakeholders want, what my customers want.
mhm.
Similarly, success in my private life is not only defined by what Donna wants from a marriage or what Donna wants from her siblings or her parents, but it's also what they want from me as well. So it's about showing up and delivering for yourself, yes, but also delivering to those that you are responsible to.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's a lovely answer. I like that. I'm sure people can learn from that. So thank you. I saw a comment from is it Sean or Sean Alexander? How can I get connected with the CTO? I'm looking to provide business intelligence dashboards to assist with tourism. Of course, he this is the lovely forum to do it, Sean. Maybe I don't
Well,
know.
that's fine. Sean could connect with me on LinkedIn. He's spot on in terms of business intelligence. Our
Mhm,
decision now are very much based on data, based on research. So Sean could definitely connect through me
mhm.
to me via LinkedIn. So that's
Okay.
quite fine, Sean. You could send me a friend request.
Awesome. Donna, we have to talk about your style. Oh my goodness. What
Oh,
has happened? Girl, since like
Hmm.
I mean now you're doing a lot more events and so on, and just you were always glamorous, but then the outfits, the shoes, the oh my goodness, what's going on there, girl? Tell us about that style. Is it, was it always there? Is it now coming out?
No, it was always there, and it came from my mom.
Oh.
My mom was a seamstress, so I grew up around style and fashion. Maybe we didn't call it that back then, but that's essentially what it was. She had a dress shop, so I worked alongside her with the
Mhm,
not necessarily making the clothes, but being around it. So I think my love for fashion and so on started in that way.
mm,
And for me, Lisa, I'm very simple in what I do. I believe in a nice, clean look. And
mhm,
also it's about knowing yourself again and knowing what will work for you and not what's going to work for Lisa. Something might look fabulous on Lisa, and if Donna puts it on, it doesn't look so fabulous. So you have to understand that, and you have to understand what looks good for you, what's going to work for you, what's going to make you have. And it's not always about the physical clothes, but it's what radiates from that, what makes you feel like a superhero. There's
Right.
certain things that you put on you, even if it might be a red lipstick, it might be a red dress, it might be a high heel shoes, it might be flats, it might be sneakers, but
Mhm.
you have to define your own fashion. Drink
Right.
your own
Okay.
wine, drink the
Great.
wine you love.
Drink the wine. So it seems like you're drinking different kinds of wine right now, because when we were doing ACP, when you did Antigua Cruise Port, there were a lot of belts and peep toe heels, and pantsuits. Okay. And now we
Mhm.
bring out the dresses and the frills and the layers. What's going on there? So you notice I'm in your business because I'm your coach.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. So, so again, it's recognized, also recognized in the environment, but
Yes.
still, I'm
Yeah.
still comfortable, Lisa. I'm still comfortable with
Okay.
how I decide to style myself. When I worked at the port, I was comfortable with that style. Before that, when I worked in the entertainment business, it was a different style. So I was comfortable there. So it's about that. It's not about what you see in a magazine, because sometimes you see something in a magazine, you go out and you buy it, you put it on you, and you realize, this is not for me.
Oh.
So again, it's not necessarily about what you wear, but it's about how you wear it and
Mhm.
what it does for you and how it adds value and executive presence. And we didn't even get to talk about executive presence
Yeah.
and how it brings forward executive presence, and it helps you in your career and in your personal life, and how you present and how people receive you. Because yes, indeed, appearances, it matters to the person who doesn't know
Absolutely.
you. You
Yeah.
only get that one chance to make that impression, and people form an impression within seconds. They don't even give you a minute,
Yeah.
within seconds.
Yeah, for sure. And even looking
Yes.
at you going about doing the speeches and appearing at this and such a function, properly dressed and with that pizzazz to it, I think it adds a tinsel. It adds a certain, what do you call it, frisson to the, yes, it does add it to it, as in, I, by my presence, by my image, by how I'm showing up, and even the speech, I am adding even more value to what is already there. And you just seem to have nailed that. So kudos to you on that.
Well, thank you, Lisa. But
Yeah.
like I said, it's also this. In addition to your style and how you present yourself, it's also showing up and
Mm-hmm.
delivering. There's a phrase: you get up, you dress up, you
Yep.
show up. You also
Sure.
have to deliver too,
Yeah.
and that is my intention as I move forward in this new role,
Mm-hmm.
and beyond that as well.
Okay. Let's end with this question. It would one be, where shall you see yourself in 10 years? We're not going to ask that silly question because everybody's going to be like, oh well, I don't know. I'm going to be here, whatever. Okay. Last question is your definition of excellence. Do you have a definition? How does it show up in your life? Something that you have not perhaps told us before, if there's anything there.
Um, Again,
That's fine.
excellence. Yes, excellence. I think comes from finding your purpose, like they say now, finding your why. And once you figure that out, the passion is going to follow. And then when you're passionate about something, it's very difficult not to achieve excellence, because that passion is going to come. And surrounding yourself with those people that love and want the best for you
Mhm.
is is what's going to push you to achieve those great things. And for me, it's still a work in progress.
Mhm.
But I think at the end of the day, excellence has two parts: achieving for the persons you are responsible to, and achieving for yourself.
Yeah.
Saying that I am pleased, I have done well, I am pleased that I have showed up and delivered. I, Donna, I, Lisa, I am pleased.
Mhm.
And the people that I'm responsible to, they're also pleased.
Thank you so much. Like, if I may sum up what we've done here today, one thread throughout everything you've said is that there isn't a focus only on you, but also on taking into consideration the views, the demands, the desires of those around you who you love, who you work with and for and with, etc. All of that. Now, Donna has testimony to that collaborative streak or thread in everything that you said. We have this lovely comment from Margarita Remy, and she
Oh,
says,
hi.
you recognize the person.
I
Wait,
remember her. Yes,
yeah.
yes.
So
Hi,
here's what she
Margarita.
says. Here's what she says. She says, I need to read it. Let me just read it here. Good evening. Very interesting discussion. We'll continue to view. Love Donna's style of leadership. I remember telling her at the airport that I am pursuing my MBA with the University of Cumbria Business School. I completed in November. Thanks for the encouraging words. So that
Oh,
sounds
well,
like,
congratulations, Margarita. I know her very well. She's my former colleague at Slasper. So,
okay.
congratulations. Yes.
Right. Sounds like she took your encouraging words to heart, you know? So
Yes.
kudos to you.
Mhm.
Thank you so much, my friend, my client, my friend, my I look up to you. I'm like, wow. Okay. The day my career, my speaking career does what yours is doing, I'll be like, yes. Because you literally are on the path that your passion is driving it, the excellence is driving it. Every single speaking engagement results in another speaking engagement because you're in your element. So we're grateful for that and continue to be a light to us here in the Caribbean. And we are proud of you. From St. Lucia, okay, I need to say on behalf of all St. Lucians, Donna is from St. Lucia. I'm not going to say not from, I'll leave it right there. Okay, Donna, you were born where? In St. Lucia.
In St. Lucia. Thank you so much, Lisa. And I must take, a couple of seconds to just tell you how amazing you are,
Thank you.
and how much you have given me, of yourself, of your time. And it's a relationship, I think, that goes beyond coaching. And it's just
Definitely.
testament to how fabulous you are. And
Mhm.
all of the wonderful things
Thank
that you're
you.
doing, not only for me, but for so many women. And men,
Yeah,
so
sure.
thank you so much for everything that you've done. um, thank you.
Absolutely. You're most welcome. And the whole goal is that we win because why shouldn't we win? And we're going to end on that note. Thank you, Donna, for joining us here
Thank
on Life
you.
Coach.
Happy holidays.
Happy
Thank you.
holidays. You take
Bye.
care. Bye, everybody. Thank you. Take care.